right, we're ready to go. Welcome to the Hawk Podcast Show and on Facebook. Jack Young to my right. I'm Dennis Gravel. We start every show off with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Well, it's still legal.
Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If you want to join us on your favorite podcast channel. We got Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google, several more. There's a bunch of them. Whatever one's your favorite one. Spotify. I said that right.
Mm-hmm.
Just go to your favorite channel and type in the Hawk Podcast. And we're also on Facebook. Facebook Live right now. The Hawk Podcast starts at the same time, 5:30 Eastern Time. And you can join us live on either one you want to listen to. We're here. We also have a show tonight on the United States Constitution Fed Up with Politics on YouTube. And again on our Facebook page, United States Constitutional Group.com. Yep. Starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So join the United States Constitutional Group. Please invite family and friends to join these groups. We have important work to do, and we need your help to accomplish that. Jack, what do you want to talk about this week?
I don't know. They keep falling away on what you say. I got the Durham report I'm working through, and it's just enraging. I mean, it just puts your hair on fire. So I have to, I have to really get it PowerPointed out so I don't go down a rabbit hole.
Right.
You know, because they're talking about the text messages between certain FBI officials, and on their face they show a predisposition to investigate Trump. And this is what these two did under direction of their bosses, which I have a feeling goes all the way up to President Obama at the time. And they ended up changing the course of history.
Yeah.
The United States course of history to this day is changed because of these two people doing what the President of the United States, I feel, told them to do. And nobody's gonna be put in jail for it.
Right.
Not one person. Then I was gonna do our platform for the independent constitutional parties run for office for the state legislative spot in South Carolina. And I did this year about 2.5 pages of input from you and my sister Margaret into this. I emailed it to myself, printed it out to make sure it was all good before I emailed it to everybody. I didn't memorize. I didn't put.
He goofed.
I didn't put for it to be remembered, and it printed me the same exact thing that I had done before. So I got to do that over. So there goes those two subjects. But yes, this Durham report is infuriating because even though we thought Durham, Durham did good work on it. He posted a lot of factual statements that showed how the United States government lied, how the United States press lied. They won awards for it. They won office space. They won elected office. They won appointed spots in our government, in our bureaucracies, and all on lies. They started riots and different groups that are hateful to America. They've started wokeism. All of this stems from the 2016 election. But fear not, folks. The Department of Justice, one of the biggest bureaucracies besides the Supreme Court, nobody's going to be held accountable because they feel like there was nothing there. The exact words were... I don't want to go through it. We're going to go through that on another day. But their exact words were basically, none of this is going to hold up in court and maybe should be put into a lesser non-federal court system, which I don't understand that. Basically what it's saying is they don't got the stones to do this because they know what's going to happen to them when they do.
Right.
If it doesn't come out that patriots of America that are supposed to be in office win, the other folks are going to be forgiven their sins, taken out of prison, and they're going to end up going there. So, that's that. So what do I have is a suggestion on this. Here's just a little remembrance for you folks, because remember, I like to remind people of things. Always remember that if you, as an American, are doing with less, that means the American government needs more. So, don't look at them to be on your side. So why is the government, right?
That's right.
So, there you have it. So my question to you is, why is the government so willing to allow Americans to suffer?
I think they actually like it. Everybody has now they need, people need them. People need their money. It's our money, but they need their money. That's what people think. Oh, the government's giving me money. They don't realize, hey, that's my money.
What do you think, Mike?
Why do they want us to suffer? I don't think they care about us.
I think it's about control.
I don't think they're in for it for the money and the power, and they're not in for it for the American people.
But basically, my opinion is because while you're suffering and you're trying to figure out a way of not suffering for you and your family, because don't forget, folks, everybody out there who have children and grandchildren and trying to help these people out in your life, and you can't because you're suffering because of the policies of your government. The government is they're taking your rights away, and they're placing you under tyrannical rule. So you are being ruled by tyrants who need you to suffer, sort of like watch the left hand while the right hand's doing this, so that they get you squarely under their thumb.
I mentioned last podcast that the government isn't interested in our parents. They're not interested in us. They're going after the kids. That's who they want.
Mike, you did a great job last week, too.
Yes, sorry I wasn't here. Thank you, Mike. I was feeling a
You
little
did a
under the
great
weather.
job.
No problem.
So last week I talked about politicians and mainstream media.
I just have one thing
All
here.
right.
Right, go ahead. Go with yours.
All right.
I'll spread mine out.
So last week I talked
I
about
can spread it
politicians
out
and
there.
mainstream media and why this country is a mess we are in. Today I wanted to get more into about where the mess is happening, in what sectors of the economy, and you can tell us if we should unite as pissed off people that are just fed up and want change. We're fed up with politics.
I don't know if we need change. What we need is to return, which is what our platform states.
Well, it's a change in where we are now.
Bringing back America back to where they're supposed to be.
You know, and then if I have time, I'm going to talk about third-party candidates. Been hearing that a lot in the news lately. And we shouldn't be called third party. We should be called a minor party.
How about this?
You've got major parties and third party. No, it's major parties and minor parties. You know.
Are they part of the, you know how you were saying the Tea Party was really part of the Republican Party? Is that the way these third parties are?
That's
Or
how
they
some of
an
them
official-
start. That's how some of them start.
There's one particular one that has they have a candidate in mind. He announced it, but they do have $70 million in their coffers, and they aren't affiliated with either one of them.
So they are a minor party.
But you got to remember, Mike. So far that I can see, I don't know about you, Dennis. You tell me if I'm wrong. Maybe besides the Libertarian Party, who doesn't seem like they have any sort of a candidate right now lined up for it that would have any kinds of means.
They're so dysfunctional right now. I can't even see how people want to be on that ticket.
Yeah, well, I think the only reason why they want to be on that ticket is because it's in all 50 states, and they do have money in their coffers. That's the only reason why. But the other parties, the Independent Party, the People's Party, all of these other minor third parties, guess who's the head of them? Democrats. Not Democrats, left of Democrat.
Yeah, that's what,
So the Democratic Party,
so they're not a real minor party.
well, they are. They're not part of the Democratic Party, but they're leaving the Democrat. Basically, my feeling is I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get into your segment. But my feel is that the Democratic Party is sending out some of their candidates to these other minor parties to take them over. They're there. So now it doesn't matter. Besides the GOP, it's Democrats running against Democrats. So as they coalesce down and these other parties fall out because they can't keep up with the backing, their supporters go on to the Democrats.
People have their own agendas. That's what it comes down to. It's not about for the people anymore. It's about, I'm pissed off at this and I want it done this way. It's not like, hey, we the people are supporting you, so you need to take input from us, like our government doesn't do now. So that's where
So there's going to be no real change.
Not until we have a strong, independent person that runs for presidency. And I think there's people out there that could do it. We just got to give them the right avenue, the right ballot access. But Larry, let's get into it. So we the people have several concerns that need to be addressed, and politicians don't want to hear from us. People have lost hope in the future of the United States, and they are so frustrated with this government. And honestly, who can blame them? We sure can't. We feel the same as most of you. So the first mess I see that we have is government spending. We have a federal government wants to spend as much as they can. Getting out of debt, they could care less about. As politicians on both sides of the aisle, Democrat and Republicans, they believe our money is theirs. And according to them, they'll do whatever they want. They'll tax us as much as they want.
You know who else used to think that their money was theirs? Monarchs.
You're right. So don't try to challenge them because we work for them. That's their mentality, and it's friggin' disgusting. This country right now is $31 trillion in debt. And thanks to this lap debt ceiling agreement, in 4 years we'll be over $35 trillion in debt. There's no way we can sustain this much longer before the bubble bursts. It's not only our federal government. We have several cities on the edge of bankruptcy because of bad financial decisions. And they're facing a financial collapse.
Well, you know, it's against the law for a state or a city to claim bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Well,
I mean, since when do they watch what the laws are?
You know, cities like New York. New York City has the highest tax burden of any state. They have unfunded retirement entitlements. And the state legislature sucks, as well as their governor.
Well, if you're addicted to crack, it's okay, because they just put crack
I was going to say that.
vendors.
You know, they can put,
$11,000.
you know, instead of cleaning up the streets with getting drugs off the streets, they put crack pipes in machines. They put condoms in machines. But you can get one of them for free.
And guess what neighborhoods they're in? They're not in front of Gracie Mansion.
No, they're right in the...
It's in Bedford-Stuyvesant.
Yep, it's crazy. Chicago is on the brink of financial ruin. Not only with the mismanagement of financial issues, but with high crime and pension-based debt. One more city is Portland, Oregon, with a debt of over $5 million. The pensions that were promised to people, bad shape right now. See, the one common denominator in these three cities is that they are controlled by Democrats.
What about LA and San Francisco?
They didn't even want to get into them.
Okay.
They're up there too.
It's just too much.
No. It's just way too. I'm telling you, it was.
Yeah.
They want to spend money on our social programs. That's what Democrats want. Like I said, Jack just mentioned, we can get in more cities financially ready to collapse. But I'm sure you get the picture. Yes, folks, believe it or not, Biden has ruined this country. The next area that is a mess is the housing market here in America. The dream of home ownership is out of reach for most citizens these days. The median price of a home today in America is $436,000. Not only are the houses overpriced, then you have to add in the high cost of interest rates due to Biden inflation. Politicians have ruined this country by financial mismanagement. And in this economy, buying a house is way out of reach for most people. Unless you're... I'll get into that in a second. These days, it seems we only we, for average income, buy a house is winning the Powerball Mega Millions.
Hmm.
That's about the only way. Thanks to Biden inflation, the cost to own a home today is $600 more than it was 2.5 years ago, with interest rates over 7%.
$600 more a month.
A month, I mean, yeah. You fed up yet? You know, under Trump, we had a great economy. And I get it, he wasn't presidential. He had scandals. People voted for a lesser evil, only to find out Biden has scandals.
True scandals, though.
And maybe the worst president this country's ever had. Worse than Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter's got to be jumping up and down.
Well, not so much. He's in hospice.
He's in hospice.
He would be, though.
If he could stand. The housing market and government, out of control spending, are the first two areas that people have lost hope for their futures. So look up this article and see there are 12 reasons why people have lost hope. It's called Dark Clouds Looming. 12 reasons people have lost hope for the future. The next area of concern that I think is rental prices for a lot of things. People of America not being able to afford the American dream of home ownership. So they turn to renting apartments, condos, or townhomes. Have you seen the cost for renting them?
Well, I know these little shacks they built next to you.
You know how much they are?
They were, when they opened them, $1,800 a month. Who knows what they
It's out of control. And living alone today is non-existent. Just around the corner from us. I don't know. I forgot what their name called. A one bedroom starts at $1,700, $1,800. They have 1 and 2, 3 bedrooms. For 3 bedrooms, over $2,500 to $2,800 a month. These builders keep building these luxury apartments, and folks don't make the money to be able to live in them. I'm sure it's that way all across the country. Rent is so high it increases every year. At least when you have a mortgage, I mean, the monthly payment doesn't change that much. It'll go up, go down, you know.
Well, if you're an illegal immigrant, you can live in people's houses for free.
Well, the New York City wants to pay them $125. The homeowners.
A day.
Yep.
So
Per each one.
that's $3,500 a month.
Yep.
So they live there for free. The homeowner makes $3,500 a month.
You can quit working.
Here's the catchphrase on that, though. You will never get them out of your home.
Nope.
So when that $3,500 runs out,
You know.
you better save some money.
You better not leave that house. You might never be able to get back in.
And one thing we haven't talked about yet is a real big problem that's coming up is AI. Artificial intelligence.
I don't know enough of that, but it doesn't look
Right.
good.
I don't know much about this topic either, but what I've heard, it's not good for our future.
Well, it's left leaning.
The number of jobs that could eventually be lost is staggering. What will people do when we don't have jobs? We don't have to worry about our cities going bankrupt. It'll be most of America that'll be broke.
Well, the good thing about it is I heard the two first industries that AI can take over is, number one, lawyers, and number two, the media. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that part is. And let's
See-
look at McDonald's and their kiosks that they have, the little kiosks you can go up there.
They could
How
think-
many jobs have been lost at McDonald's because of AI?
Not well because and before that it was the $15 minimum wage.
Yep.
Once that passed, McDonald's said, "Okay, you're fired."
You know, what other fast food restaurants and major chains are looking to do the same or have done the same?
They have to.
Yep.
How can you afford somebody to do a cash register that don't know how to count back change?
You know, but this is a major issue that you can bet our politicians will screw it up. We need new leadership who care about the people of America. These politicians have ruined our country. And it's going to take we the people to put it back on correct course. Look at that article I talked about. You get some, there's other areas. Actually, there's 12 areas. I went over 3 or 4. So, Mike, you got anything on it?
Well, I was going to say, I told my kids about that $15 an hour. I said, first thing they're going to do is lay off half of you. I said, the second thing is, they're going to charge you they're going to give you $15 an hour. That $2 slice of pizza that you used to get is now going to cost you $5.
No, it's going to become more.
So how are you making any more money?
No.
They are brainwashers. They make it seem like you're getting free money. They're just making it harder for people to survive.
They're doing a good job on that. Making it harder for people in America. Good job, politicians. You bunch of morons.
here's a, I laugh at this because you have all of those people that are now working at home and they don't want to come back to work because they found out how nice it was to work at home because you have no supervision there. And let me tell you something, if this AI keeps growing,
You have to worry about it.
what workforce you think's the first one to be replaced?
Yeah.
Guess what? You can stay home.
Yep.
You better double the amount of pajamas you have.
They're
because
already
you're gonna need
starting that now. They're telling them to just stay home. And by the way, give us back our Apple computer.
it. Yeah.
So there will be no tax base for the government to give you money. That's what it comes down to. So, you want to add about your mark, Derek?
Yeah. So, all right. So I was talking about the government making you stay in misery, and you can see the changes happen. And personally, myself, I put all of this. Yeah, Biden is really bad, but the people behind Biden are Obama's people. And Obama, I believe, had started this. Nobody knew what a community organizer was until Obama came. What did you do for a living? I was a community organizer. What the hell is that? And he gave himself grandeur and
Took money from people,
Yeah.
spent it on other people.
right. Again, social programs that never work because social programs lead to laziness and it just never works. So I feel the government right now is doing a top-bottom clearinghouse to make it smooth sailing for them to take over and get rid of the Constitution. And you wonder why. Now, I don't know how true this is. I only saw it reported once on a major media outlet. And I heard Mark Meadows pled guilty for an immunity deal to testify against Trump for the government. And here's just another example of what
Another
they did.
sellout, another.
Well, here's the thing. It's just like
Unaffected
Mike Pence. He saw what they did to Pete Navarro, who was a part of Trump's cabinet. The man got contempt of Congress, and they caught him at the airport with his family and put him in handcuffs and leg irons. The man's got to be in his 70s. He's an old guy. I don't know where they thought he was going to go. But again, they grabbed Mark Meadows. For those of you that don't know who Mark Meadows was, he was a congressman, and then he later became the chief of staff for Trump. And so basically what they said to Mark Meadows was, you take this plea, and we'll give you immunity if you testify against Trump. Because if you don't, you think you can afford these court appearances like your old boss Trump can. And he said, well, I don't have $200 million to waste on that, but I'm not guilty. And their answer to him was, we don't care. Neither was Trump. Trump was innocent. And the only reason why I'm saying Trump was innocent was because of this. 2 impeachments, the Durham investigation and the Mueller investigation. I mean, you're going to tell me that the Mueller investigation for 2 years, if they would have caught him jaywalking, it would have been over then. They didn't find anything on the man. They did not find anything for him. And the only thing that they could do is lie. And they have the media lying for them, so if you keep saying it, it must be true. And that's what they told Mark Meadows. You are innocent, but we don't care. That's not how tyranny works. Tyranny doesn't work on honesty and justice. They work on terror. So we have people terrorizing American citizens to get their point.
I'm really surprised there hasn't been a revolution yet. People are gotta be pissed.
So, they're plucking these guys off. All of these top guys, they're getting. And everybody that was a part of Trump is going to be indicted on something. Doesn't matter what it is. Again, the KGB works on, give me a man, I'll find you a crime. And that's what they're trying to find crimes. The one that goes on in New York City, The statute of limitations of that have been over for a very long time. They were all misdemeanors, and they were all put together, which is illegal. You can't put a bunch of misdemeanors together and make it a felony. It's against the law. Can't do that. So 34 counts of misdemeanors doesn't equal up to one felony. So they're doing this to the people that you would like to run this government, that have run this government, that ran this government from the top down, and they're all being economically destroyed, put into prison, getting indicted, completely getting taken out of the loop because of tyranny and state media run news. Because that's what it is.
I heard Trump say, or I mean, I heard Biden say earlier that he wants censorship for the election next year.
Well, I mean, Schumer said it on the Senate floor. They should censor, what's his name? Fox News.
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson. You know, again, if you don't need more proof than this, here's another thing. All you ever hear from President Forget-A-Lot is, well, I have to run for a second term, and I had to run for this term because I'm the only one that can beat Trump. Well, if you can beat Trump so hands down, with one arm tied behind your back, why are you consistently trying to put the man in jail? You're trying to put your opponent in jail. You're trying to put your political opponent in jail.
This is Russia crap.
Russia, Venezuela, they all, Cuba, they all do it. North Korea, well, North Korea will just kill you. China, jail. I mean, we watched a guy that was the head of the Communist Party in China get picked up and removed right in the middle of council. He went to Xi like this, like, what are we doing? This is really going to happen? And this is what she did. With shock eyes, just dead eyes looking forward while that guy got removed from the chamber of government in China. And that's what they're doing, folks. They're doing this. They tried to do it with Matt Gaetz. He beat his because he was a hardliner. Ted Cruz will be next. All of these guys. I mean, when was the last time you heard from, what's his name from Florida? Rubio. He's a mouse. Mm-hmm. They can't do it. And you think that Mike Pence is running on a true conservative ballot? No way, man. They said, listen, we got your documents. We need you to run for president, and we'll get rid of this. And he said, okay. They dropped his charges. He's the vice president. He has no right to change the level of paperwork like the president of the United States does. Clinton literally went to court and won because he's allowed to declassify information that he had. Biden and Mike Pence are not allowed to do that. If you have those papers in your hands, it's illegal. You're not allowed to do it. But they are going to get off for doing that, but Trump is not going to. Because they're taking this down, folks. They are taking it down. And you want to know something? There's a lot of people that are fed up with politics, but there's a lot of people that don't see anything wrong with what the government's doing because they don't know.
Good point.
Mm-hmm. You think that maybe whoever was in the background working for President Obama got very nervous about Trump and said, you know, this guy is derailing what we want to do?
No. I think the entire system got worried about Trump. Republican, again, me and Dennis say it every single
Democrats and
who was
Republicans.
running the government, who had all three branches of government when Trump got elected.
Yeah, that's right.
The Republicans. And what did they accomplish in 2 years? Nothing. Including the number one dogged subject for every GOP in the United States, Obamacare, did not get taken care of. Yeah. He had to do an executive order to get rid of it. Paul Ryan, that mouse of a man, refused to do the good for America and right this country the way it's supposed to be. You want to know why? Because they saw what two insignificant animals did in the FBI that changed history.
It's nuts. Anything else, Mike?
No.
No, you're pretty quiet tonight.
Not bad for a guy that only had 2 paragraphs.
Well, you had 3.
Well, that was a sentence.
Oh. Can't blame the guy for trying. So this won't take more than a couple minutes. So there's a new poll out there. I don't know if you've seen it yet. 49% of people
Yeah, I saw that.
say they would consider voting for a third-party candidate if Trump and Biden squared off again for the presidency. The people have had enough of both candidates and want other options. Biden's polling numbers have sucked since he pulled us out of Afghanistan, and too old. And Trump has indictments he must get through, so they're tired of hearing negative things about them. Or Trump is too old, Biden has too many scandals. It depends on what mainstream media you watch, okay? But hopefully you stop watching them and listen to the Hawk podcast and others like this one. My question is, Jack, why do they have to call it a third party?
Same reason why they call people minorities.
Why can't they call it a minor party? I don't understand. Third parties don't make it in America. But a minor party could and maybe even take over a position as a major party down the road. That's if we, the people, have had enough of this gaslighting from the Democrat and Republican parties and politicians. I know getting on a ballot stuff, it takes thousands of votes and signatures, but it can be done. If the people really, really have had enough of these two major political parties.
Well, I tell you the truth. If these minor parties start getting into office, they have to start doing what our platform says. And saying one of two things. Either as a Democrat or a Republican, you have to work just as hard as we do to get on the ballot, or we have to work as little as you are to get on a ballot.
Right.
So there's a structural change that has to happen. Is it able to happen? You know, what we have to really do, I think what we have to do starting this party, the Independent Constitutional Party, we have to do what they do in business. So how does a small company work? Like let's say a beer company. They started out as a microbrewery.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Adams was one of the first microbreweries in the country. Well, they all started out as microbreweries, and then when the train was invented and air conditioning, so in modern age, the first microbrewery was Sam Adams. He's not a microbrewery anymore. He's a gigantic. He's one of the big guys. I don't even know if he still owns it. He's so big. So what has to happen is these minor parties have to sell themselves as like a microbrewery. I am so good. You don't need these other bigger names.
That's a good point. So what we're saying is don't be a sheep. Be a hawk in a country full of political asses and elephants. We can have the last laugh, but only if we're ready. Jack, I know you're ready. I know I'm ready. Junior, you're ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mike?
Yep.
You're ready. We can do this. We just have to, it's going to take time and effort. And we're not going to give up. We're starting our party right here in South Carolina. We can do this. I have faith in all of us. So I'm going to end on that. You got anything? Any last thoughts?
No, just get outraged, folks.
Mike, any last thoughts?
No, but it's time, I think everybody started doing their research. Find the truth.
Yep. So be a hawk in this country. It takes determination, hard work, and sacrifice. We must keep our eyes open to these tyrants in Washington while building up our own minor party. Are you just going to be sheeple? Or will you get involved to help achieve greatness?
Sheeple, I get it.
So people can enjoy and achieve the dream of home ownership and make a good wage to survive on. Because South Carolina, people don't make a good wage down here. We can't do that with the politicians and political parties we have right now. They have brought us as far as they can. It's time for them to step aside and let new blood, new party, take up the reins. I mean, Jack and I, tell me if I'm wrong, we are at a tipping point in society where everyone has had enough of two-party rule. See, this is bigger than all of us. We must stand united as patriots to achieve what needs to be achieved. We can be successful. Join us. Stick with us. Be a patriot, not a sheeple. Mike, can you lead us in prayer?
Yes, I just hope people don't identify as a sheeple.
Some people do. The ones that are brainwashed from the news media. Hold on.
All right. Hebrews 11:6. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Let's pray. Dear Lord Father, help us to diligently seek you, Lord. Whether or not we are seeing those rewards you promised, we know you provide good things for us. What we don't see today, you may provide another time. Help us, Lord Father, to seek you in faith for all our needs, and let us reach out to those who do not yet believe in you. We need to share all you have done for us with people who have hurting hearts. We pray this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen. So do your own research. You gain knowledge when you do it. And always remember, knowledge is power. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. And we'll talk to you next Thursday at 5:30.
Good job.